Carson for the inaugural address. What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Roger here, stepping in to cover the day's events with you guys. I got to tell you what, some very strange stuff happened. I want to start out with a report here. I got it from one of our subscribers on the West Coast in the Bay Area, and he wrote a couple of items. I'm going to give you some excerpts, and I want you to understand, folks. He writes, red alert, red alert. I would not have thought it. But going into Lucky's today, Lucky's is like Kroger's, Piggly Wiggly. He says, going into Lucky's today, and you could see single line wine bottles on shelves. Sour cream, the dairy section denuded, soup cans stacked, single line, 3 high, hiding all the empty shelves. The more I looked, it was like, holy cow. He writes, this is some real SHTF. What a F is happening. He says, even here in San Fran, not necessarily in Walmart and Costco, but Target, Lucky, no doubt Safeway are showing and hiding empty shelves, no products or very few products. He wrote, I postulate there's nearly 50% of the old normal fully stocked shelves. Now, what made this particular story interesting is it comes from a very reliable source. Additionally, I was sitting here in my control center and I was looking right at the screen of the computer, and hands-free, that very email, which I responded and said, I'm going to read this one today, sent it back to John. On the screen, it flashed on that email, and then it was wiped clean. My email back to him still existed, and normally they get stacked, right? His email, my email, his email, my email, that sort of thing. Mine was there, but his was gone, wiped out. He had to send it 3 more times before it showed up. What the hell is going on? I think that's a fair question to ask, don't you? Hey, and I want to thank everybody. I heard all about Tuesday Night Live. That was great. What a day, man. All righty, and let's get into it, folks. This is an incredible day. Incredible day. We went from 2 weeks to stop the spread to we're going to take your dog from you. Canada freezes bank accounts and crypto accounts of truckers, protesters, supporters, etc. Oh, let's hear it for freedom, folks. I thought cryptocurrency was encrypted. I thought it was safe. I thought it was anonymous, not to mention tax-free. We're beginning to see how that is working. And a bank run. Many people have pulled their money out of Canadian banks. Well, you want to threaten to take my money? I think I'll take my money first. That is continuing, right? The mainstream media journalists are going after Give, Send, Go supporters of free speech. You see, the trucker convoy / trucker protest is free speech. Understand, folks, it has hit the fan. Red alert on many, many different subjects. Unbelievable where this is heading. And not to mention the big banks in Canada. I don't know, the Bank of Canada, Canada Banco, El Banco, whatever they call them up there. A lot of them were taken offline overnight even. Is this a staged event? Was this a hack? Well, some collegiate hack hacked into Give, Send, Go, bragged about it, haven't heard about his arrest yet. What makes you think hacks aren't going to go after the banks? Or perhaps this would be them closing their accounts so people can't transfer their money out into other safe jurisdictions. Or wait a minute, it's Russia, Russia, Russia. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter what happens. It's easy to see how it always benefits those in power. Things don't happen so that you and I go, hey, that was pretty nice. How about that stuff? How about that stuff? You know, Canada's justice minister. I love how they have ministers. Here in the United States of America, a minister is like a reverend, a preacher, you know, a minister. Up there, oh, they have ministers too. They you know, I think they're more like administrators, ministers, but still, he reiterates today, and people are pissed in Canada. We're worried here in America, suspicious of all government. Oh, you bet. This jackass continues to run his soup cooler. Right? This obscene comment he has is this, quote, "You just compared people who may have donated to this to the same people who maybe are funding a terrorist," the reporter said. Right? This is what the reporter said. You just compared basically people to funding terrorism. And he says, "I just want to be clear here. A lot of folks say, look, I just don't like your mandates and I donated to this. Now it's illegal. Should I be worried that the bank can freeze my account?" What's your answer to that? He says, well, if I think you're a member of this is what the minister said, if I think you are a member of a pro-Trump movement who's donating hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to this kind of thing, they ought to be worried. People are donating $10, $20, $30, $50, not thousands and millions. But that is the mentality, folks. That is the mentality of these, shall we call them, government despots. They are literally tyrants. Got another breaking news story here. Are you ready for this? And thank you again for all of your donations to our GT, FB, and SB fund. Elon Musk has stepped in it. I was going to put a news article up earlier. He has taken a lot of flack, Elon Musk. I don't think personally he's doing a great job with Tesla, but the Tesla cult loves their Tesla cars. Elon Musk, he is supposed to be the world's richest man on paper. And I'm sure he's going to live and eat well the rest of his life. He is going after these people. He's calling them out. He has now compared that little bastard Trudeau. He's compared him to Hitler. You bet, folks. A lot in the media are pointing to that. You know, if Justin Trudeau's not careful, the little girl that could, I mean, the little boy that could, is going to be about as popular as Hillary Clinton. No, maybe worse, because he is getting booed in office. Now, she is not even in office. I'm talking about Hillary. She's not even in office. And she got massive hate today when she showed up in New York City, showed up in her Scooby van, you know, her Scooby medical van that they love dragging her off to during the 2016 campaign and injecting her full of whatever it is that keeps her alive. You know, don't even want to make in that discussion. Anyways, folks, gets out of her van, takes about a dozen steps, goes into the hotel. Before she could get 2 steps, people started yelling, booing, and saying, lock her up. And I think I heard hang her, right? There was a time, I believe it was George H.W. Bush said, if they found out what we were doing right? It wouldn't be safe for us to be seen on the streets. Something like that. For some reason, that's here in the old memory banks. It is not safe for Hillary to walk down the street. But get this, folks, understand it well. If she gets back into literal power, she will scorch the earth of everyone, her lovers and her haters. Wait until she gets power. She wants to be in the Oval Office, folks. She pretends like nothing's ever been done. Like, what difference does it make now? Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Well, I'm going to do my 30-minute monologue here, and then you guys are going to get the second half. We're going to answer some questions. All right, we're going to do the Q&A portion, but hey, let's get back into Trudeau. I hate this Trudeau guy. He's a little turd. And I hate him in a loving kind of way. I hate him in a satirical way. I hate him with pure sarcasm. Guess what this little bastard did, though? Right? He labeled a Jewish minister of parliament, okay, not just a citizen of Canada, not a Trump supporter of Canada, a minister of parliament. That is like a House of Representatives congressman. But this minister of parliament is Jewish, and Trudeau labeled him a Nazi. Oh, can you believe that? The little Nazi labels a Jew a Nazi, then he won't apologize. And then he claims he's protecting Canadian freedom by stripping Canadians of their freedoms. He ignores that his deputy prime minister's grandfather was a real Nazi under Hitler. And by the way, Trudeau looks like Castro, Fidel Castro, communist Fidel Castro of Cuba, whom his mom knew. Trudeau, folks, was elected by the people of Canada, but he swore an oath to serve someone else. What a world we live in, folks. And it has really hit the fan. Now, there's a little shit out there. He's very unpopular. He doesn't care if he has to do unpopular things, though, right? He's willing to do the unpopular work because, you know, sometimes.
I also want to ask you about the president's mandate. There's so much opposition now.
I understand, and we all understand, how people do not like to be told what to do. They want to make their own choice and their own free will.
Is there any thought of backing off of that?
People do not like to be told what to do, told what to do, told what to do. They want to make their own choice and their own free will, their own choice, their own choice.
Backing off.
Free will, their own free will. I get that and I respect that. Free will, I respect that. But these are unusual times. Their own free will, unusual times. I respect that. So I would prefer, and we all would prefer, that people would be voluntarily getting vaccinated, told what to do. But if they're not going to do that.
Unbelievable. It's just, this guy's unbelievable. What would people prefer? I don't know. Do you remember? Yeah. 2 weeks to stop the spread. Who would listen? Right? It's who would have thought? Who would have thought that we'd have that little turd telling us what to do, and that mainstream media would laud him as the world's greatest? Well, he is, folks. He is. Just listen to this CDC, listen to the fact checkers, listen, right? But who really still listens to the little man? Who really does, right? Despite zero science to back up his claims, he makes a massive proclamation today. He says, quote, "It's understandable why people want to take masks off the kids. But right now, given the level of activity that we have, it is risky." So it's too risky to stop forcing kids to wear face diapers? It's risky. Where's the science? Follow the science, listen to the science, obey the science, worship the science. Where is the science on this? I forgot. He is science. So when he speaks science. His words are science. His words are godlike. That's what this fucking guy thinks. Unbelievable. It's understandable why people want to take the masks off, not the kids, but their kids. People want to take masks off their children, their own children. I tell you what, Dr. Doom, you can go to your family members and force them all you want. I tell you what, when you can convince an adult like Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles, you convince him to keep his mask on 24/7. Get back to me in a week. And if he does, I'll reconsider. But he's got to wear it 24/7. It comes off once. That's it. He better figure out how to eat with the mask on too, because that doesn't count. I don't want to hear he was hungry, because I can't breathe. Literally, I can't breathe with the mask on. They suck. I had to go somewhere once. They gave me one of those little masks. I sat there right in front of them, peeled out 2 out of the 3 layers, put it on my face. This is a while back. I laughed my ass off. I was like, there, you satisfied? It was, it had that super thin paper one that you could see my teeth through. I was like, yeah, how do you like that? You gave me a mask, I put it on. I'm surprised that the person didn't go, you modified the mask. Yeah, unbelievable. Now, this is incredible. Something strange happened today. Well, yeah, this is probably more strange than the emails that disappeared right off of my computer, right in front of my eyes. The CEO of YouTube, she wants more government rules to crack down on unacceptable speech. Interesting. She wants it to be clear. She wants it to be concise. Censorship. But for all media, she actually complained that the internet has tighter restrictions than television and print media. And so she says this, and we've also seen laws just passed for the internet as opposed for all speech. And I do think that's a dangerous area when we start to get in and say, oh, sure, you can say something like this for a magazine or on TV, but you can't say it on the internet. How about this, Susan Wojcinski of YouTube? It's dangerous for any government to tell anyone what is or is not acceptable speech, or what is or is not an acceptable topic of discussion on any and all media forums, whether they be print, broadcast television, radio, or internet. And that, folks, includes public speaking. And in my opinion, social media here right now, this is public speech. This is the public square. The internet superhighway, information should be able to flow freely. Oh, isn't it great? 2 weeks. Let's lock everyone down. And now we're fighting to speak freely. You guys know I'm not allowed to speak freely. Woo! I mean, this actually is a crazy day, right? Be alert in all sectors. I am completely suspicious of what's going on. In Austria, they had mandatory Jim Jones juice. And guess what? The people, well, I guess they had to obey, but it has had no impact on the jab numbers. In other words, they said, well, it's forced, it's mandatory. Why isn't everyone lining up to get it? People were like, ain't doing it. And now here at the end of the day, I just buzzed across a little report that in Austria, they're looking at now letting up. Like Ireland and England. Like the Czech Republic, like other countries, they're just saying no more. We're going to be done with it. Sweden says it's just a flu. Hey, if you want to wear a paper mask, you go right ahead. I know you and I here in the Prepared Mind Network, right? We do what we want. You should, if you want to wear a mask, go ahead. I just don't think it's going to do any good because the companies say it's not going to do any good. Now, it almost seems like we're seeing a complete, like a 180 reversal. First, you got to get the Jim Jones juice. You must. And then they're like, no, and no passports and no regulations and screw it. Let's pretend, right? Like we never trampled your rights. Folks, in England, a doctors group is now demanding an investigation into the sudden increase in young men who are dying. Males in England are suddenly dying. A huge percentage. We've heard from undertakers or funeral home directors in England. They're like, deaths are way up. We've been reading and watching television and other broadcasts about soccer players, professional athletes around the world, from teenagers on up, keeling over. In America, young basketball players in high school, keeling over. This doctors group is demanding an investigation. I can tell you with 99.99% accuracy. Oh, no. How about this? 99.85% accuracy. That's the same survival rate you would have had. But if you take out people with comorbidities, your survival rate was like 99.9999. In other words, the odds are greater of you being struck by lightning while riding a tricycle, licking an ice cream cone down an interstate. I don't even know if that made sense. Ah, man. How can you be so pissed off at the same time wanting to just laugh at these people for being the idiots they are? The sniffer-in-chief Biden, he is sensing that Russia is going to invade Ukraine in the next several days. Don't forget, I covered this earlier, but they're firing mortar shells. The Ukrainian military is firing mortar shells into the woods. Who are they firing them at? Rebels. You rebel scum. Who are these rebels? The rebels are supposedly Russian rebels. Do we know that? No, we're on the other side of the planet. We don't know shit. We know only what they tell us. See, that's what the mainstream media, that's what Washington, D.C., that's what the globalists want, is they want to tell you information and just have you accept it. In George Orwell's book, 1984, the Necronomicon of dystopian frickin' nightmares, the people were always told you're at war with other countries. They were in a perpetual war. They only knew what Big Brother told them, and they just had to believe it. Never any evidence presented, just report after report after report. Unbelievable. Don't forget, folks, we covered this. We shared it with you that an empire that is on the incline, it's growing, always grows and expands out. An empire that is stagnant looks to its holdings to sustain itself. And then an empire in decline will begin to eat itself, cannibalize itself, and attack itself, lying to its own people, stealing from its own people, harming its own people. Hello, United States. Hello, Canada. Hello, Australia. I tell you. So let's do this. Well, we still got some time. Good. Biden says the Ukraine invasion is very high. So Russia, folks, has expelled U.S. Deputy Ambassador Ding Dong. Let me see if I can get the guy's name. Which deputy ambassador? Now I can't see it. It's in here somewhere. I got so many reports. I got reports about reports. Okay. Shelling has begun. Another bullet point. A U.S. envoy says evidence is on the ground. There's evidence that Russia is moving toward an imminent invasion. Says this is a crucial moment. Who is this U.S. envoy? Who authorized them to speak? Where's their proof? He says there's evidence. Show it to us. Nope. Here it is. U.S. Deputy Ambassador Bartle Gorman expelled. I've never heard of Bartle Gorman. I bet he's a Democrat. Russia says no invasion of Ukraine is being planned. Russia has issued a statement demanding all U.S. troops leave Central and Eastern Europe. I don't know where Putin gets off with that one. I know he's concerned about Eastern Europe, but Central? Essentially, he's handing back equal demands. Biden says the probability of the invasion is very high. Says Russia is involved in false flag moves. Isn't this interesting how you and I, let's just stop right there. SHTF, you and I were told false flags don't happen. That's a conspiracy theory. No government does this. They're always honest about being jackasses and harming and killing people and stealing their property. False flags? No, no, no. Handy Sook, the Boston Marathon, shall we say, smoky production, where people sprinkled fake blood all over themselves and laid there, pretended. Prove me wrong. Show me the pictures of the incredible Unhulk in his shredded pants. Show me the pictures of the little old lady who showed up a couple seconds late, who laid down and then got blood all over herself. Show me Mr. Pinched Artery. Show me Cowboy. Show me these people. You can't find it anymore, folks. Those videos, those pictures have been scrubbed. I didn't think that they had the guts to scrub that much stuff off the internet, or I would have saved those videos myself. That's right, Handy Sook, Parkland. Name the event, folks. Yeah, there are false flags. They are done by governments. And yeah, and now governments are accusing each other of doing it. And then you have jackass Blinken, ambassador to the United Nations. He did a Security Council meeting where he made fantastical claims. Unbelievable. It's just, the whole thing is unbelievable. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Do you have a plan? Are you going to wait until the shelves are completely bare? It used to be you take a can off the shelf, there's a bunch of cans all the way back. Now you take a can off the shelf and you look, and shelves are empty. I walk around in the stores that I shop in, and I shop in an area that's normal. It's not full of prepper crazies. It's not full of crazy rednecks. It's not full of anything. It's just normal people. And I go in there, and there are days when shelves are cleared. It's like, what happened? Where's all the food? I'm seeing it more and more and more. I'm hearing about it from you guys more and more. And if you aren't prepared now, you won't be able to get prepared when it becomes obvious to everyone that there's a very, very serious problem. My recommendation, get prepared. My recommendation, go to the preparedmind.club. This is just, it's absolutely incredible. I'm running out of time for my segment. I got to get to you guys. Let's see. Okay, one quick one. Yeah. Democrats that are running for office are now, I guess they're using satire and humor in their campaigns. They're claiming that they are here to cut taxes. Are you kidding me? They could cut our taxes in half, and you're still going to lose to inflation because they're trying to cut the value of your money in half. Okay, surprise me, Democrats. Take away all the taxes, and I'm going to have a hard time keeping up with inflation. Unbelievable. Inflation is chewing up the few dollars that I get. It's incredible. Yeah, they're tax cutters. Yeah. Now Democrats are responsible stewards with our money in our country, and I can't let this one go. If you are on Patreon, you would get all of these articles and more. But I'm going to finish with this one. In Germany, a reporterette was on the television lecturing and telling people she sounded to me like Hitler, because I know she was talking about masks and mandates. I know she was talking about the Jim Jones juice and how you should take it. I know it. And oh, by the way, for those of you who, well, I'll just leave that as it is. I'll just leave that there. This German reporter, just rattling on in German. I guess she was in Germany. It's fine. Talking about Jim Jones juice mandates. Fucking passed out, fainted. She's like, yeah, and went off camera. They like cut over to German number 2. He's like, Schneiksa, you know, yeah. Someone else just went out, got jacked up on the juice, got juice boosted, shows up in television studio, wanting to lecture everyone else, virtue signaling all their garbage. How many people have to die? How many people out there are sick and they have no idea that their heart, their lungs, their brains are being chewed up? How many zombies are being made as we speak? I saw an article today saying dead men walking. They don't even know it. Scary stuff, folks. Very scary. And I am now going to back off and say, I hope you've enjoyed the satire. And it's time for your questions.
Are you ready?
I think we're going to make it through this week, folks. But it's hit the fan, and we need to keep telling everyone, share that internet address, if you will. We got Blue Court Devil checking in. He says, just a heads up and asking for prayers. Wife has started radiation therapy along with chemo. We are selling our place to move to Ohio. Reason I've been absent from the live shows. Blue Court Devil, yeah, I think everyone, let's send a prayer out. Cancer and chemo, what I'm really pleased with is you're able to get some kind of treatment at this time. And how many people are going to complain that, well, for 2 years, they weren't allowed to see a doctor. They weren't allowed to get checkups. They weren't allowed to run normal health checks. How many people are going to be suffering from cancer or diabetes or other illnesses that normally would have been caught but now have been suppressed because, you know, cerveza bug? Blue Court Devil, Godspeed to you and your family, your wife. Good luck with the move. I hope you find a safe haven and good people where you're at to help you protect yourselves and loved ones. And then also, I know that once you're there, you're going to probably set up shop and start fighting the good fight. Governor Inslee in Washington State can stuff it in his ass. All right, let us move on if we shall. We got Latin American preparedness. He says, I did see a bumper sticker. Do not steal. The government and IRS hates competition. Now we are witnessing governments planning to seize property and bank accounts of those not in compliance. Thoughts? Oh, I've got some thoughts. that phrase, saying that I don't know, what do we call that? You know, that's almost a proverb. Don't steal, right? The government doesn't like competition. Well, in Canada, yeah, they're looking at doing just that. If the government disagrees with your political position, you are now an enemy of the state. In Canada, you have now funded someone they consider to be terrorists, those who like freedom, the truckers. They have ignored the laws, right? The compact that the Canadian people have with their government. And they're willing to abuse their people. Let's see, tax them, fine them, arrest them, jail them, steal their trucks, their dogs, all of their property, take away their licenses, take away their insurance so they can't work anymore. These are the unholy threats of a government. You can't buy or sell without taking their mark. What is their mark? Right? The mark in the head. Yeah, they're marked in the head, all right, folks. You can tell when you see one of these people, you can tell they've taken the mark. And I'm not talking about the biblical one. It's just, you know, you may as well take a hammer and make a dent in their head. That's how stupid they are. Still, they like this stuff. They like government taking control of everything. Now, let's not pretend that Canada is a bad place and that the United States is Disneyland from sea to shining sea. It is not. Here in the United States of America, we have the same problem. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice, and the Attorney General's office, in conjunction with and cooperation with the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who I'm sure is fully backed, supported by 90 Proof Nancy in the House of Representatives and up Chuck, barf on himself, Schumer, who only vomits anti-gun rhetoric, unless some other rhetoric's required. These people have called parents domestic terrorists. The same government that I just described, all the branches in the bureaucracy, have arrested American citizens, put them in jail for nonviolently protesting on federal property, claiming that they performed and acted as insurrectionists. And the people of the country are stupid enough, a lot of them, not you, they're stupid enough to believe that standing on federal property will fully authorize and empower you to control the might of the United States government. No, it takes a lot more than that. Unbelievable. They're coming for us in America, folks. Try doing something wrong. Oh, Hillary can do what Hillary wants. No problem. Bill Clinton can do what Bill Clinton wants. Eric Holder can do what Eric Holder wants. James Comey can do what James Comey wants. Loretta Lynch can do what Loretta Lynch wants. Susan Rice can do what Susan Rice wants. If you're General Flynn, you're going to jail. You're going to be tried. You're going to be raked through the coals. You're going to be prosecuted from the bench by a judge who doesn't listen to other judges that say, you can't do that, pal. This is about a political party that follows a particular political ideology that is given to them by the very powerful globalist elite superstructure that has positioned themselves over and above all governments, including the United States of America. They're going to do what they want, folks. They want to claim that parents are terrorists, that supporting free speech is a crime. They want to arrest people for protesting, yet allow protesters who burn, loot, and murder. They want to encourage that and allow that and forgive that. We are in big trouble here in the United States of America, folks. Big, big, big trouble. Police need to figure out what side they're on. You can't arrest innocent people one day and then the next week expect everyone to forget about that shit. The chickens will come home to roost for everyone. So please, right, choose wisely. Choose life. Choose freedom. I ask that of everyone, right? If you want, shave off your beard, put on some red lipstick, a red dress, some high heels, and, proclaim to everyone that you're a Fruit Loop, and then demand, a good job. Incredible, folks. The federal government is showing us it's a clown world. It's a bizarro world. It's upside down. The law is on its head. Folks, shit has hit the fan. Let us move on if we shall. We have Prepper Dale checking in, brother. He says, tell John I went out today and a gallon of windshield cleaner fluid was $3.69. That's pretty incredible. See, I thought windshield wiper cleaner basically was windshield wiper fluid with a little alcohol in it, or maybe some glycol so it wouldn't freeze, right? And it kind of washes away bugs, kind of. That's pretty expensive water. Oh, yeah, and they put some color in there, either a little bit of green or a little bit of blue. By the way, it's not Kool-Aid. Don't drink it. Well, unless you belong to the Jim Jones or the Booster Rooster fan club and cult. All right. Yeah. Inflation is off the hook. Inflation is crazy. It is now affecting everybody to such a degree that they're starting to change their buying habits. See, it wasn't just that we're seeing that. It's like, did hamburger really just go up? Did chicken really just go up that much? Did milk, bread, tuna fish, eggs, did that just go up the way I thought it did? Is a bag of salad now $4 instead of $2? Am I right? Well, once they saw it on the mainstream media, because it couldn't be ignored by them, and once the government released their numbers, oh yeah, stuff went up 7.5%. Yeah, my ass. Try more like 75%. I mean, double is 100%. Things go up 100%, it's doubled. 75%, okay, I would get that, but they claim 7.5. Once again, my ass. People are feeling it. It's going to have a massive effect. Yeah, and the Federal Reserve, they're going to raise interest rates to stop it. They can't do it. They're already hammering the real estate world, which in some areas where people are moving to, the prices are climbing. Other areas where they're leaving, places like California, Illinois, New York, they're going down. Washington State. I think we've got at least 2 people I know of that are leaving or have left Washington. Yeah, at least 2. So by raising interest rates, and folks, by all rights, they should be higher, because time has value. And when you take away the value of time, you destroy a currency. Anyways, they're destroying the currency fast. They're punishing us with the invisible tax called inflation. Shit has hit the fan. They're threatening everyone that if you don't do what they say, if you don't take a poison pill, then you're just a bad person. You need to be deprogrammed. You need to be re-educated. You need to be locked down. Thank God that people are standing up and fighting back. Let's move on if we shall. Okay, Jolene, what have we got? We've got Heidi checking in. Heidi, thank you for all the support, all you do behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and for participating on a daily basis. She says, question, John, today I saw a story about Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is the leader of the Davos group. Right? He's the leader of this, you'll own nothing and you'll like it. We're going to take everything from you, your wealth and your house and your car, and you'll be happy. Right? That guy, that's who Klaus Schwab is. Wrote books called The Great Reset. Okay. Klaus Schwab wants everyone to outsource their decision-making to artificial intelligence run by our government, included a chip to monitor and collect all our data. Now this is incredible. You see, we need to outsource all our decisions to artificial intelligence, who creates the AI algorithm and artificial intelligence, my ass. It's a program, right? I don't think computers can do predictive programming the way I can. I mean, I'm sure they can do predictive programming, but do they understand human nature, history, psychology, changing world events the way the human mind does? I don't know. I guess maybe they could make the argument. But you see, if the government is making the computer AI program, that is 100% centralized control by authority figures that claim they have a right to do so. And if you think the government is actually the one writing this, I've got some oceanfront property on the moon for you. Here's the deal, folks. Klaus Schwab and his New World, One World Order, Economic Forum, Davos buddies, they control the governments. They write these programs. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't already have this program written. You need to outsource all your decision making. In other words, you don't need to think. You don't need to own property. You don't need to have any worries. Your life will be easy. They're just going to make it easy for us all. Trust them. Trust them, really. Oh, and once you go ahead and get on that bus over there, we're going to take you to an ice camp, give you a nice hot shower. A new set of clothes with some stripes on them, very fashionable. Put you to work in one of our new Chinese-style factories. Don't worry, your spouse and loved ones will be in the camp right next door. You'll never get to see them again, but that's okay. Just know they're being well cared for. Klaus Schwab. I think someone in his family was a Nazi. They're pushing, folks. They're not giving up. They don't want to stop. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep driving. You take away the cerveza bug, too late. Half the world's population has taken the Jim Jones juice. They're going to get what they want from that program. I mean, governments are going to look stupid. Politicians are going to be blamed. Pharmaceutical companies, they're going to get probably at some point incinerated. I'm not encouraging, promoting, inciting, or saying that's a good thing. Not at all. To the contrary, I want everyone to be healthy and happy. Safe, no danger. But I can't stop people and what they're doing. Klaus Schwab. Do you think he's going to outsource his decision making? I don't think so. But they want all of us, folks, to give up our rights. I'm not in it for that, folks. I'm not playing this game for that. When I stop making my own decisions and living my life, I'm living someone else's. When I start letting a corporation, a government, or a little turd like Trudeau or Biden make my decisions, I become their slave. But can you imagine the thought process in Klaus's head where he's pushing this and he's used his power because after decades and decades and decades, the military-industrial complex, the medical-industrial complex, the manufacturing-industrial complex has bought their politicians. They bought them, folks. They own them. Politicians aren't even making their own decisions. They're making the decisions for them that people like Klaus Schwab have decided. Let us move on, if we shall. There's going to be answers to all this, folks. You'll know it. All right, we got Jezariah checking in. He says, John, lately I find myself asking myself and others, what did you do to support freedom today? I look in the mirror and I say, self, what did you do for freedom today? That is a great question that asks. He says, I think everyone should start asking that of themselves and loved ones every day. Now, Jezariah, here's the thing. 5 years ago, during the 2016 election, I said, why isn't anyone talking about freedom? Even President Trump, who was then candidate Trump, never mentioned freedom in any of his stops, in any of his big, huge, campaign rallies. By the end of his presidency, freedom was a big deal because his last year in office, 2020, right? We had cerveza bug stupidity. We lost, right, our sanity. We lost our way. And people realized, wait a minute, you're going to tell me what to do? Well, yeah, if you don't have any freedoms, they can tell you what to do. The government assumed they have all the right, even though they don't. They assume they have the authority, which they also didn't have. They have neither right nor authority, yet they pushed. And people started wondering about freedom again. They've woken a sleeping giant. They've pissed off a sleeping giant. They've continued to use ropes and hooks to tie us down, much like Gulliver from Gulliver's Travel, the giant who showed up in the Lilliput, and all the little people were tying him down with ropes. These little people, folks, that's government. They're very small, but they think they have the authority and the power to restrain us, we the people, and they don't. They've convinced us that they are the powerful when they're not. They've tricked half the population or more into taking the Jim Jones juice when it wasn't necessary. They used a very little man, the booster rooster, to scare everyone. And it wasn't until, what, a year ago that it kind of popped up? Oh, yeah, remember that guy? No, it wasn't even a year ago. I think it was like 6 months ago. That the booster rooster was the same guy who scared the entire world over HIV and AIDS. 30-something years ago, almost 40 years ago, he scared the whole world over HIV and AIDS. Yeah, I'm sure he had nothing to do with it back then. We're all going to die. Scare, fear, threats, coercion. Tools of despots and tyrants. Let's move on. We've got, oh, Jolene says we're all caught up for now. Okay, then. That is good. I made contact with and got contact back from another media source. And it looks like, folks, we're trying to spread this network far and wide. But no matter what I do here, what have I done for freedom is nothing compared to you guys. This internet address up here, that's in your hands. What have you done for freedom? Have you shared it with anyone? Now, you might say, John, look, I've shared the links with everybody. Sometimes you may get cussed at and yelled at. Other times you may get a polite no thank you. Sometimes you may get a gee, thanks a lot. I actually appreciate that. I don't know what percentage of what you're getting. But I ask you, keep sending out. Keep sharing. I was surprised. I thought more of my family were a bunch of left-wing dopes, believing all the crap, all the lies, and eating all of the garbage, bilge, and sewage that was being fed to them by the mainstream media. Turns out they're far more awake than I thought. Or, right, they've woken themselves up. They've seen enough now that they're like, you know what, no more. No more. So there's people out there, folks, they're waking up. What have you done for freedom lately? Whew, I tell you. Let me give it to you this, right? While you are awake, great. You're helping wake up others. What have you done for freedom? Great. But understand, those in power don't want to give it up. There's a school board meeting that occurred. And there was a mean little, I don't even know what to call him, right? School board member. A parent got up to speak. And he got shouted over. Right? So the man said, hey, are you in charge? And then the school board member mocked him and parroted him a few times, right? Are you in charge? Are you in charge? The man wasn't wearing his mask. And it's incredible. This school board member, a man who's in charge of children, educating children, went off the deep end and said, you can wear your mask on your effing balls If you don't wear the effing mask, then get the F out of here. That was a school board member shouting in public into his mic, having a meltdown. Get him the F out of the room if he can't put his effing mask on. But he dropped the F-bomb totally, folks. Totally dropped the F-bomb, right? This guy's on a board, not of a company, but one that makes decisions over the well-being of school children, right? Whether or not you have kids and grandkids, these are the lunatics, folks, that are in charge. They don't want you to have freedom, right? Even though in Illinois, they dropped the mask requirements, right? Schools are fighting back and saying, no, we're going to be the tyrants that we always dreamed we could be. It's incredible what is going on. Let me give you a little listen.
Oh, did you go? No, Mr.
I'm
Tubb.
speaking as public comment.
You said at the beginning of the meeting
you in
you would not be
charge?
rude to people.
Enough.
Are you in charge?
Mr. Tubb. Mr. Tubb.
We should remove him. I mean, this is rude.
We'll start your 2 minutes now, sir.
This is not what you promised. You said if they don't wear a mask, they can't speak. I have a mask. I could wear the mask on my head if you want. I mean, it's just, you can wear your mask on your fucking balls.
Okay,
You don't wear the
enough,
fucking
enough,
mask. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I hope that was enough for you to understand. These are sick people out there, folks. We have a long way to go in winning back our freedoms. And this is just at a little local school board. This guy is drunk on his authority that he can cuss at the public. Now, in other areas, folks, they're voting these people out. In San Francisco, they're recalling some of these left-wing lunatics running these school boards. I've listened to city councils and county supervisor meetings where the most insane, woke, right, critical race theory having, garbage is spewed. The most toxic feminine bilge is just splattered all over the place. And by feminine, I don't mean women. I mean the anti-women called feminists. They're everywhere. And they've got positions of power. And even at their small level, they will shout down, cuss people out, punish them, have police remove them, have police arrest people. Is it any wonder that someone at Nancy Pelosi's height, her level, or these governors and mayors, they are drunk on power, folks. You might even say they're drunk on the blood of saints, because it is saints that have won us our liberties, people that have fought and died for centuries. Regular people, regular humans giving their lives, doing it for freedom, if not for themselves, for those that came after them. And these people are intoxicated on that power. We need to win our country back. But you need to be prepared first and foremost. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. We need to be absolutely ready. But prep to action. We've got to keep taking action. I want to thank you guys for all you've done. It, I know, is having an effect. In Canada, it's having an effect. And in America, it's having an effect. In Europe, they're arguing back. You're not the only ones. I'm not the only one. We're all doing it now. We're encouraging each other. The concept of freedom is back on the board. Liberties and rights. People are now talking about restricting government, making them take back, right? In Canada, they're like, you're going to permanently get rid of all mandates before they go home. And those truckers in Canada, they're not leaving. Even with all the threats coming from Justin Trudeau, all of his threats of fines, punishments, jail, theft of property, removal of licenses. Once again, what is a license? License is government permission to do that, which without their permission becomes a crime. You can't do business without that license. Well, then they control you. Once again, do you have a right to work? Do you have a right to earn an income? Do you have a right to life? Well, if you have a right to life, then everything that makes that life possible from ownership of property to owning and operating a business or working for another business is a part of an extension of that right. This country and all countries have some soul searching to do. This idea that governments are supreme and sovereign is asinine. They're not. We, the people, are sovereign. I would love to argue this on a national level with any of these politicians. They don't have facts, folks. All they have is authoritarian attitude, and that's it. They don't understand real law. They don't understand what rights are. Why? Because they truly are intoxicated on power. They have been brainwashed. And that's why they have no compunction, no worries about all of their illegal actions. They think, well, I'm part of the government and therefore I am absolved of any responsibility. I can do no wrong. In fact, they think they're like the Pope. They think they're like the Pope, infallible. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Get ready, folks. Semper Fi, Godspeed. I'll see you very, very soon.
Screw your freedom.